Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today we have an American Comp Lite mountain bike from the 90s, and I'm just telling you right now it's not perfect, there's scratches, but the super cool thing about this frame is that, interesting enough, it is anodized. So this isn't paint. It's a special process where they kind of change the color of the actual steel, they add a coat of it, but it's the properties of the aluminum that turn it green in the process, I believe, electrolysis, that make it that nice green. As you can see here, the threads are inside are green as well. I bought this on eBay, pretty much sight unseen. It kind of took forever to get the bottom bracket out because it was pretty seized, but just with a little back and forth, I was able to get it out. And the threads are extremely clean. What had happened was the bottom bracket was also aluminum, and aluminum on aluminum, it corrodes pretty easily. So I'm gonna put plenty of grease next time or when I put a new bottom bracket on. I have some awesome plans for this build. This thing is extremely light as it is, so I think I'm gonna keep on that. This is gonna be a parts build, so everything I have, like spare parts or what have you, it's gonna go on this frame. Even the seat post, 26.8. It was advertised as 27.0, as a 27.0 seat post, but as you can see, 26.8 fits it perfectly. I don't know if I can do it right now, but anyways, and it fits it nice and snug. It doesn't wobble around when the seat post binder is loose. So yeah, super sick. These are the original bolts to mount it. Pretty interesting cable routing. I don't know if I'm gonna use, because I bought this problem solver top pull derailleur solver. So what this is this little bolt that actually bolts into the frame. What this is that you could have those bottom pull front derailleurs on a bike that has a top pull cable end, or like cable routing, if that makes sense. So I could run a bottom pull with no issues at all, and it kind of wraps around here. Still thinking, I don't think I'm gonna use it because I might do a simple one buy on this, and I have some awesome parts. So yeah, go ahead and sit back, relax, watch the build. Alright, so what I have so far on this build is pretty wonky. I have these, I don't know how rare these are, but I got them pretty cheap. Race face carbon handlebars. I don't know if you can see it, but there's carbon in there. So solid carbon. I'm gonna put TNT hubs on here, or a TNT wheel set, I guess. So the rear one's TNT as well. I put new bearings in here, so these things run super smooth. Salsa skewers. But yeah, so I'm gonna go with the TNT build. Let's keep going. Oh, and I think that's a Tioga, pretty common Tioga stem. I don't know if I'll keep these bars. The more I look at them, the more I think it doesn't go with the build, but we'll see. So interesting enough, as luck would have it, I have a 1x drivetrain. I won't say what it is yet. And I have technically a 1x TNT crankset, so super sick. The reason why I'm saying it's a 1x already is because A, I got it like this. The seller disclosed this. It's missing a bottom crank bolt or a chain ring bolt, excuse me. It's cracked, so the small string, there's a couple other small fractures right there, so I don't want to use that small chain ring. Like, it looks cool, it looks beautiful, but I don't want to use it, and I don't think I could ever match a TNT Performance triple. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove this big chain ring and this little one and use it as a 1x system, just because A, I'm getting rid of the smallest string, and B, there's not really a 2x. I mean, you could use a 2x. You could limit the front derailleur and have a limiter on the front derailleur, and then you could technically use a 2x system, and that's fine. But I don't like to do those types of things, so I just want to have like just one shifter, one cog in the front, and that's pretty much it, and create my 1x system. Super sick build, but I need some spacers right here for the chainring, bolts. I need a spacer right here for the headset. I don't want to cut it just yet because I want to see, you know, how the bike rides at this height. And I know it is bigger, but like I said, it's a parts build. This fork's looking pretty good on it. I think I'm pretty set on painting it black in the future. I just wanted on there to kind of see how the bike's looking. It's looking very sharp. I think these wheels and this chain ring and the hubs, everything TNT on there work nicely. Race face on the seat post. That's why I chose this race face handlebar. But it's every time I look at it, I'm starting to like it less and less. So I do have some TI bars somewhere, so that might be thrown on here. Who knows? But yeah, so far so good. I kind of have a surprise for the brakes and the drivetrain on this bike for the rear derailleur. So, and I think I'm gonna remove this thing, the problem solver little conversion from a top pull to a bottom pull, little wheel right here. I'm gonna get rid of that. But yeah, so that's pretty much the build for right now. I know the front fork doesn't want to stay still, but nevertheless, it looks really good as is, honestly. Pretty excited for this build. This is gonna hopefully be my like street like thrasher or something, something I could just tear it up. And it's aluminum, so I don't have to worry about corrosion, especially here in the Central Valley where I'm from. No riding anytime soon because it is 11 o'clock in the morning and it is 103 degrees outside, so sign of the times, folks. But anyways, yeah, so but yeah, I'm super excited for this build. I think it's gonna turn out really light, extremely light actually, but hey, I don't think it's for that. I think it's just to enjoy, to have fun. But yeah, we'll stop it here and hopefully we'll continue this build soon. Thanks, bye. I actually, here, let me get some stuff out of my hands. I actually decided to switch out the handlebar. As you remember in the previous little clip, I had another carbon bar, a race face, pretty rare one, a red one. But yeah, obviously your keen-eyed viewers can see that there's brake levers and a rear shifter. So yes, these are my parts. Yes, my spare parts, machine tech levers and brake set. So I have one on there, and yep, these are from my parts bin. I kid you not, I got a great deal from a fellow bike collector, builder, or reseller bikes. This is a Grafton pod for the XTR group set, and as luck would have it, I do have the rear derailleur for that, so that's going to go on there. Here's how it looks installed. The Machine Tech brake levers, or brakes, I guess, brake arms. Pretty interesting setup. I'll do one on screen and have y'all see how that works. But these profile bars that I put on here, they're carbon. They're new old stock. I know that there's some scuffs and not fun things on there, but I got them from the original box. But yeah, and the reason why I'm continuing on this build is because I have the appropriate spacers for here. As you can see here, right there. I just had some random carbon spacers kind of in there, and I think these kind of polished black will look good. We'll see how that goes, but yeah, let's go ahead and continue with this build. I'm gonna put on some brakes. All right, so with installing these brakes, folks need to understand that there's three main components on just the brake arm. So I'm gonna walk through them a little bit on these Machine Tech brakes. Don't ask me the model, don't ask me when they were made, I don't know. So here, the first component, or I guess there's four. So the first main component obviously is the brake lever arm. These are extremely light. Maybe I'll weigh them eventually, but who knows. And then you got your brake pad, pretty much a similar setup to a lot of just brake lever arms, but just super cool looking. And there's adjustments right here. I don't know if the camera can see them. So yeah, I think you can kind of see it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. My assumption is this is the level of tensioning or just adjustments you can make, and they're on both the brake arms. So both the right here, the right, and then the left side. So you could put the cable straddle kind of, and you'll see more of it when I have the full setup complete, but you'll see how it kind of works. Next, you'll have a little sleeve. I don't know if the camera can see it. There's a little tiny sleeve right here that goes in the back, and you could hear it click in, right? And then like all brakes, or the majority of brakes, I know brakes that don't have this, that I do own myself, have a little spring, right? To kind of return the brake back to its original position. And then you're gonna have this knob right here. So this is actually the adjustment. So unlike many other brakes that are out there that have like a little screw or something to adjust the tension of the return of the brakes. So you put this on the back right here. And I know what you're thinking, it's kind of counterintuitive to put it in the back, but you'll see right now it makes sense. So now that I have all this, right, I feel a nice little tension on the back. the positioning of this rear bolt doesn't really matter because you could tighten and loosen it wherever it goes. So, and then you're gonna need a washer. I tried it without a washer on the back brake. That's why that one was already installed, because I wanted to see how it worked. Because you need that little pivot right here, or the little sleeve to kind of spin freely. So here, once I install this, I kind of hold it together till it seats at the bottom. Oh, make sure that it's on the inside. So there you go. All right, and a lot of times these modern brakes or brake pads, they're a little longer than the old school ones that are like chunkier and shorter. So you'll have to put in the brake inside the fork arms. And then so I put in my bolt right here. These spin smoothly in, no issues there. And I want to just do this initial test right here to see how they fit. So look, it spins freely. Cool. I could tighten this a little bit more. Still spins freely. And I'm gonna put some pressure on there, because the pressure along, it's kind of hard to explain, and I'll explain it in a little bit. But the pressure that you put on here on this screw kind of holds it all together, right? And the way you adjust the tension, right? So look, there's no tension right here, right? So if I unscrew it, I guess I could do it from right here. If I unscrew this, right? Gotta be careful not to strip it. So if I unscrew this and move this manually outside, right? This back bolt, by the way, it has two machine faces on there, so I could put like a wrench or something, and I'll probably end up doing that. But I just want to show the camera how this works. See, now I have tension, right? So pretty interesting setup. And again, it's this back bolt or back nut right here that actually goes into the brake, the little brake post that's sticking out. And then let me go ahead and readjust these brakes so they kind of fit flush. These are actually working way better than the back brakes. I don't know if these have a back or a front preference on the brakes. If you know in the comments, let me know, because I'm having some difficulty here now. Because as you can see, they like almost squished together. I don't know if it's the fork or not, but because on the back, I actually ran into the issue of having too little movement, and I'll show you how that looks. But yeah, it's pretty center-ish. Yeah, I can feel it right here. And as luck would have it, these pads are carbon or ceramic pads, and this is a ceramic rim. So again, that's also why I chose this. As you can see there's return. It's nice and centered. I'm not gonna fully snug everything down because I have another brake to put on there, but yeah. So I'll go ahead and not explain the next process and put the other brake in. All right, so in measuring out this cable, you got to understand where this is going to go. So it's going to drop right around here, actually. So what I'm going to do is I like smooth curves when it comes to putting brake cable. So I don't know if the camera can see it, but yeah, so it goes straight down into the brake. So if I squish it, oh, well, you might need less actually. And the reason why I'm doing this, here, let me show you. Okay, so there's gonna be this little special part. I need to replace the back little cable guide doodad. As you can see it there, it's like broken.
but that's an easy fix. So what's gonna happen is it's actually gonna go in like that. And then once the cable squishes, it's gonna squish like that. So I need to see, as you can see here, how much cable I need. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it at full collapse, and that looks like the appropriate amount of cable. I don't know if you can see it, but that's what I'm gonna be doing. So I'm gonna mark my finger. Always mark more than what you need, just FYI. All right, so continuing on, I already put the brake cable in here. As you can see, I don't know if the camera can see it, it's right there, it's already put in. Just mind you that some of these brake levers do, it helps to have one of those little brass washers for the brake cable barrel, I guess, or the brake stopper. So, because this is like a bigger hole. But yeah, a little thing I'll point out that I didn't have, but I kind of made on the spot. So I had this like random piece of brake cable, right? Or shifter cable. So what I did is I kind of ripped out the inner lining of it. I'm pretty sure the camera can't get it, but I ripped out the inner lining to create, to get this thing out, which is the inner liner of the shifter cable. So what this is gonna do, here, I'll show you right now, because remember the old one was broken, right? So what this is gonna do, it's gonna, if I can get it. All right, so, it's actually going to, oh geez, this is harder than I thought. So it's actually going, I don't want to bend it, so maybe pull it. Oh, cool. All right, so yeah, it's gonna play as play right here, right, as a little guide for this, and so it doesn't wear out the aluminum that this thing's made out of. So that's kind of why it took a little while to figure this out. But see, I could go in and out, it's fine, and it's gonna get looser over time. And I haven't put any like lubrication or anything. Oh, I messed up already. I should have put the cable in between. All right, so let's go ahead and redo that. Ugh. So gonna put the cable, right? Let's try this other side. Cool. Okay, nothing wants to work. I know I should have, there you go. All right, cool. Now we're getting some traction. All right, so there, that goes in there. All right, so now we're gonna grab our cable and we're gonna do this right here. Push this through, and then it likes to be pulled through, so we do that. Oh, well, this fell out, so, which is fine, because this is just a guide for this. So yeah, there you go. See, it got looser already. Okay, so now, if we can, we'll pull this through, and as you can see here, it kind of, this kind of sits, see if I could do it. It sits in there, right? And the reason why I left a lot of kind of slack, I guess, on this little shield or little cable protector is because I need to figure out how long I need. So technically I could leave this here, right? But it still kind of won't work. And then, yeah, so let me go ahead and start the final adjustments. But you could see where I'm going with this a little bit. So if I press the brakes, it's pulling on this side now, okay? And as you can see too, I might need a little bit less cable because it's not doing so well. There's too much tension. See, it's already expanding. And this thing's all crooked. You want it to be at like almost at a parallel. And I know my little makeshift brake stand is kind of fighting me here, or bike stand. But so it's gonna need to come down a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. So what we're gonna do is pull this thing off. Okay, and then we're gonna cut some cable. Alrighty, so I just cut some cable off, and was a really clean cut. And by the way, Jaguar actually has these different cables that look like shifter cables. They don't have like the coil or spring around them. And the reason why I know they're brake cables is because A, these are cable stop or brake stops for cables, and B, it accepts the bigger cable. Usually shifter wire, it's too thin to fit into, or brake cable is too thin to fit into a shifter wire, so, or shifter housing, excuse me. So yeah, that's another interesting little feature about this. So put this in here, and then we're gonna do that same process again, putting this guy in there. Fix up the camera so you can see straight. All right, cool. So we're gonna, maybe we should start in here, and then as you can see, there's a backside to this. Ooh. All right, so kind of get it out of there. Put it through right there. And I know people are gonna get mad. It might bend or fray, but I got a lot of excess cable here. So I'm gonna push this through. There you go. So yeah, I pushed it through. Let me go ahead and pull this through again. Okay, let's get it right this time, hopefully. As you can see here, I'm gonna put it on level 2. And yeah, so there's a lot less bend in this now. And I think I'll leave it here. And I wanna show y'all. So, here, y'all could see this. Yeah, so look, it's like kind of adjacent to the ground. I'm not gonna mess with it anymore because I do want some play. I don't want it to be spot on straight, right? I do want some play in here, and I want it to kind of fit flush as much as possible, but hey, if that's as good as I'm gonna get, that's as good as I'm gonna get. All right, next step. All right, so now, here, hopefully the camera can get it. What we need to do is to get this like stopper, right? This came with the pack. We need to get it to kind of seats. There's a couple ridges, very much like the front brake cable. It's gonna be like a barrel type of situation, right? So it's gonna have these 3 ridges right here. And I want there's an opening in the back, right? For a screw or for a bolt or to screw in something. So there's a Allen key or Allen bolt right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna thread this on the end. Okay, and then maybe loosen it just a little bit. There you go, just a little bit. Okay. So that's what I'm gonna do. And to get this tight on here, what I'm gonna do is throw that there, tighten this here, and then since there's like a lot of play cabling, I'm gonna cheat a little bit and then kind of put this in, tighten this inwards. And as you notice, this isn't tight, and the reason for that is because I could adjust as I need. See? And now it's a little further. Okay, so let's go ahead and figure this out. So again, I've never worked on machine tech. That's why there's a lot of trial and error in this video. All right, so, oh, the brake pad's not on correctly either. Okay. What I need to do, maybe pull this back out, screw this in just a hair. Oh, sorry, screw this in just a hair. It still moves back and forward. Okay, cool. Now, see, it's sat in here, and I'll show you a close up on the other side, how that's gonna look. Okay. And I really, really wish right now I had a cable puller, but I don't because I'm really smart, you know. I tend to not do these things or think of them until after the fact. And then here, I might need to play with it a little bit. So I'm gonna tighten this in all the way. Do that. So this one's in the middle. This one's in the middle. Okay. Maybe loosen it actually. Okay. Cool. what I could do actually is cheat a little bit. So I could lift this out, tighten this where I saw it. It worked. Kind of go about it that way. So let's try that. Maybe it'll make my life easier. Because again, I've never worked on these brakes. There's a ton of trial and error going on as I'm working on this. I think we're kind of set up here. Cool. All right, so that's kind of how they look. I don't want to jinx it because I still need to do some adjustments. So let me go ahead and do that right now. Oh, and before I move on, here's the little side section there. See how there's 3 like little holes on the backside? I know this is a really weird angle, I'm sorry, but yeah, then here's that stopper. And you could tighten it from this side, but not from this side. So you gotta make sure it's facing backwards. The brake pad kind of got misaligned in the process because I didn't tighten them, right? But yeah, that looks pretty good. I'll go ahead and do the adjustments off camera. But yeah, and the adjustments, you're gonna need kind of like a thinner wrench, size 15 for the back bolts as shown earlier. All right, so these things stop on a dime after some adjustment. Boom. Absolutely mad power. Like I'm barely touching this. Some still final adjustments that could be made, but oh my gosh. Like the whole bike, and I hardly have to push down on this and it's like firm. It's insane. So super excited. I'll do the back side. I'm not going to show the back because this took too much effort. So get back with the back finish up. All right, so this Lite I found in my parts bin. I think it'd be a great addition. I know it has like folds right there. I think it was pushed up against something, so I think these folds or little creases will come right out the more you use the bike. But yeah, pretty crazy. I had this in my build or in my little parts bin. But yeah, as I said, this is like a crazy parts bin build. But yeah, I'll go ahead and throw it up there and let's see how it looks. All right, so I'm gonna slap on this XTR, I think M900, M910. Okay, so cool. So it's like a newer model. I believe it's still an 8-speed. I think it could go up to 9-speed. I'm not too sure. I'm not an XTR fanatic. I do love XTR stuff because it's shiny. There's a crack on the bottom pulley, but I do have an extra couple pulleys actually with these, I think, ceramic sealed. Anyways, so I'm gonna throw this on here and then I'm gonna put on the rear cassettes. And then I still need those spacers on the crankset or on the chainring up there. I'm gonna go buy some grips today at my local bike shop. So yeah, let's see how it turns out. Alrighty, super sick. I just got the grips on here. Brakes are working great. A little squishy for my taste, but as you can see here, I think it's just the way the brakes are designed. Obviously 90s brakes are, I tuned them up as best as I could. Spin great, stop on a dime. But yeah, they are a little spongy, I will say, but I'd imagine they stop really great. Clean up that TNT rear hub, and yes, I got a cassette on here already. This is going to be an 8-speed build. It's an 8-speed shifter. M910 rear derailleur, that looks great. I already straightened out, I did the adjustments. You just do the high and the low, H and L for the adjustments to move it in or out. So the H kind of moves it in, and then the L screw moves it out. Now, I gotta figure out this chain line. It looks like it's dead on already because it's on the inside where it should be. So I don't think there's gonna be an issue there. The only kind of issue I do see with this bike is the seat post bolt. Funny enough, it would be this. This is backwards because the previous owner, I guess, had stripped the bolts. It's gonna work great for a smaller bike, but I need to figure out just a bolt situation. So nothing too crazy. That might take some time. And again, still waiting on my spacers. I have a ton at my my parents' house, but not here for some unknown reason. But anyways, yeah, so here it is so far, and can't wait to finish the build. Oh, and I still haven't put those spacers, so let's go ahead and do that right now. Alright, so I know my arm's probably going to be in the way. Quill spacers, or for the headset spacers, I guess, you gotta kind of twist it around, let this fall somewhere, kind of in line. I wish I had something to hold the wheel in place. Don't mind that. I know I'll readjust everything. And so what we need to do is get this off. You know, it was never meant to be liquid, so that's good. Yeah, obviously I could cut the length of the fork, right, or the steer tube for the fork, but I don't want to do that. The reason being is because what if I come across a bike that this fork fits, right? Like I don't want to cut anything. And B, I want to make sure that everything fits good and feels good before I start cutting. You know, I want to ride the bike, I want to do some other stuff with it, you know, see how it feels, shake it down first before I start messing with it. These are just normal spacers. Let's see if that works. Just two. And what you want to see is you want to thread it in about 4 threads deep before it starts grabbing. So it might be a little bit too little, but I still see like 1 or 2 threads in here. I don't know if the camera can pick it up. Anyways, but I think that's perfect because you can still see those threads. Anyways, but I guess I can. So that looks good. So we're gonna leave that there, and I bought the black just so it looks good and kind of matches. And now what you want to do is this one's already kind of snug, the bottom, and yes, you should have like a big wrench, a headset wrench already, but if you don't, go ahead and just tighten this up. This doesn't take a lot of pressure. And then there, what you want is that you want this to see, oh, well, there you go. There you go. You want it to spin freely, but not crazy tight. Because once you start feeling the crazy tightness, you'll take away from some of the performance of spinning. See, that might be, oh, no. Feels great. Okay, cool. And you want to shake it a little bit, and that looks good. All right, so now I can put this back, and now it looks decent. Up. It's nice and square. And you could always adjust it while the stem is on there. So just another FYI. I just take it off. I took it off because I had to put the spacers in there. And obviously, I'm gonna tighten everything up, make everything work well before I do anything. Before I ride this bike. Oh yeah. It doesn't fall to the left as well as to the right because there's cords and stuff holding it, but yep, silky smooth. It looks a lot better with these spacers that actually do the spacing. But yeah, super stoked. All right, so I cut the cables off outside of the camera video. Don't know why, I just wanted to rush through it. Just remember with these old cables, measure them out exactly, and make sure there's no like bends right here. Make sure the whole bike turns, everything turns comfortably. I kind of don't like how all these cables are on one side because it kind of doesn't allow for good turning, I guess, of the wheel. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. The rear one's all done too. Here, maybe I can zoom in. Yep, nice little bend. Nothing too crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna start putting on the shifter wire. So the thing with shifter wire, right, is that you got to make sure it like functions properly. This shifter's a little sticky, but I like to only work on them when they have a cable inside or something that pulls back a little bit. Let's see, I don't know why this needing a lot of resistance here. There you go. There you go. Make sure everything's perfectly in place. Cool. Everything shifts great. And the way you could tell everything shifts great is that you could pull on it. So let's say if I pull on here, like there's tension. There you go. It was a little sticky without the cable, but I think we'll be fine. I'll put some T9 in there just to kind of help absorb that. Also put it here in the rear derailleur. Here, maybe if I bring the camera to show you all. Oh, sorry, I have like kind of a crummy tripod situation going here. The cool thing about 90s mountain bikes, aside from my jumping back on the subject of bikes, is that the cables are really serviceable. So that's one thing I always recommend about 90s mountain bikes. They just have awesome serviceability. Like, look at how many modern bikes can you do that with? A lot of stuff's internal. I like internal stuff, like internal cable routing, but you know, if you're trying to kind of keep a bike long-term wise, I'd say, you know, have something with exposed cables. You know, it's not going to hurt the bike to have exposed cables, unless you live in like a really wet climate. You kind of have to maintenance the bike a little bit more. I think that's it, but yeah, aside from that, should be good to go with just a normal exposed cable 90s mountain bike, honestly. So we'll tighten that up a little bit, and then what I'll do is back up out of the shop maybe, and then I'll kind of show the whole bike. So yeah, hopefully my arm's not in the way. It's kind of like an awkward way to record, but so it's already loose. It's already too loose, but which is fine. I'm actually gonna adjust the barrel adjuster. Hopefully you can see that in my hand over here. There you go. Okay, it's still really loose. So as you can see here, what I forgot to say too is that you might need to do a couple runs because the cables squish with the housings or with the little ends, the cable ends. So you got to make sure that they actually squish together. So that's why it looks like it got loose again, even though I did pull the cable tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to loosen this a little bit, the rear derailleur, right? And then I'm going to pull again. Get this nice and tight again, and this should be the one. There you go. Make sure it's seated properly in there. Okay, nice and snug. If you notice too, I don't really like to put cable crimp ends on the wires. Oh, well, see, hey, you're supposed to, because look, I just made myself bleed, which is fine, whatever. Hopefully YouTube doesn't censor me for that. I'll try to put a sticker or something. It's red paint. This red paint gets on you if if you don't put cable ends. Okay, might scrub that. But yeah, but I don't like to do that because I don't like to do that because if I need to adjust it, then I need to remove it anyways, those little ferrules. So here, give me 1 sec. So the bike is done. Bring the light closer, hopefully. Yeah, American Comp Lite. I believe this is a late 80s bike. Early 90s maybe. I don't know the exact year, but this is a parts build, believe it or not. I know, crazy brakes. As you saw the video, it was a little challenging at first to get some of the things to work together. I'm glad I didn't tighten this, the graphed-in shifter pod, because I did some adjusting as I was riding. I don't want to move it right now, but you could like sway it back and forth a little bit. I'm gonna tighten this like ASAP because the way I had it, my finger didn't fit in between here and the brakes, so I couldn't shift while riding pretty much. I had to like really squeeze my finger in there. So again, that's why I say don't really snug things down extremely hard. Do a torque test after. Obviously get it to where you could ride it, test the bike, but make sure everything's torqued. After that initial down the street ride, make sure your brakes work, obviously. I'm not going to show a video of me riding this because I need to take this to my local shop to get it trued. It's like the one thing I don't do with bikes. But either than that, this thing is an amazing ride. Absolutely smooth. I put new bearings in the TNT hubs. So it rides like, and they're press fit bearings. So it rides like a modern bike pretty much. I'm super stoked to take this out on trails and just to have fun with it. These tires are amazing. The Continental Double Fighters. I think the 1.9s look perfect for this bike, and just in general, 1.9 is like a good looking tire. 1.8, 1.9, and 2.0. I know there's like very slight variations, but in that range or that family of bikes, that's like the way to go. So the cons about this, so the rear brakes are really squishy. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's like or squishiness within the cables themselves or the cable routings. I might want to shorten this cable route because as you can see, it like kind of sways down. You kind of want it, you know, parallel, and it does go around a little bit. So maybe shortening that in the future. It does stop on a dime, but I hate that squishy feeling. And I have a feeling it has to deal with these 3 little notch settings right here. So it could be it. Who knows? But yeah, I'm not going to show a video of me riding this bike because A, it's probably really late in the night. I haven't even looked at the time because I'm scared. And B, throughout the day, it's about 105, 101 or whatever. It's in the 100-degree weather category where I live, so it kind of takes that out of the equation. But yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this parts build. I know I couldn't get a whole lot of it on camera. This one I was really busy between the days of me building it. So I apologize for that, but yeah, you know, I hope you enjoyed this build. This was definitely a labor of love, and I can't wait to take this one to go to cafes and just to kind of just enjoy the day, you know, with this bike, because it's kind of a sleeper. Well, it is a sleeper bike because not a lot of people know what American Cycles is anymore. Only the connoisseurs, and let alone where it says Comp Lite. The decals are kind of jacked up. But you know, you can't really tell what that is. But anyways, hope you enjoyed this build. I'm super excited to show y'all more about it on my Instagram. Take some cool close-up pictures in the daytime. Only pictures, no ride. But yeah, this build actually came out to 22 pounds almost on the dot with everything on there. So just a FYI to all you weight weenies, this thing, it shreds. And it could get lighter, but we'll see in the future about this fork. So yeah, we'll have to tune back, or you'll have to tune back to see more about my bike builds. Thank you all again for giving this a watch, and yeah, here's my American Comp Lite. Thank you. Bye.